When the Pittsburgh Penguins traded for Emil Bemstrom, it was one of those trades that I didn't even bother covering on the channel. It was a trade that I figured most of us would probably forget about completely in a couple of months. Really, the only aspect of this trade that actually had people talking was the conditional 6th round draft pick that went to the Columbus Blue Jackets with Alex Nylander because of how specific and just different the condition on that 6th round draft pick is compared to most conditions we see on draft picks that are involved in trades. For those of you that don't remember, the condition is if Emil Bemstrom scores at least 6 goals with the Penguins from the time of the trade to the end of the season, then that 2026 6th rounder would be upgraded to a 2026 3rd rounder, so it would jump up 3 rounds. And for a second, it was looking like that may actually happen as Emil Bemstrom scored a power play goal in his Penguins debut, but in the 4 games since then, he has been relatively quiet and has been averaging under 11 minutes of ice time per game. Not a big surprise, but what is, in my opinion, a very surprising development stemming from this whole trade is just how good and how productive Alex Nylander has been as a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets through 5 games. Nylander was a former 1st round draft pick, 8th overall by the Buffalo Sabres in 2016. For those wondering, I'm sure most of you know this, but yes, he is the younger brother to William Nylander. Now, I feel like the term bust is thrown around prematurely a lot by hockey fans, but in the case of Alexander Nylander, this is a guy who has been labeled as a bust for quite some time now, and I think rightfully so. He's 26 years old, like I mentioned, was an 8th overall draft pick by the Sabres back in 2016, and at the time of the draft was viewed as somebody who had the potential to be a top line forward. For whatever reason, up until this point, he really just hasn't been able to make things work at the NHL level. This stretch of 5 games with the Columbus Blue Jackets has been Nylander's best stretch of play in the NHL in his entire career so far. Through 5 games with the Blue Jackets, Nylander has 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points. He's averaging over 15.5 minutes of ice time per game, which is the most ice time he's averaged in his career up until this point. Alexander Nylander is getting an opportunity to play right now for a rebuilding Columbus Blue Jackets team, and this really may be one of the few opportunities Nylander has left to prove himself at the NHL level, and he's making the most out of this opportunity. 3 of his 4 goals on the season so far for the Blue Jackets came last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. It was Alexander Nylander's first career hat trick, and his offensive skill set, which was a huge reason he was selected 8th overall by the Sabres back in 2016, was on full display. For his first goal of the night, Nylander was able to find himself a quiet area out front. Texier made a very nice pass from behind the net. Nylander was able to bang in his own rebound, but it's the second goal of the game that really has Blue Jackets fans excited. He makes a nice back check, strips the puck from Alex Pietrangelo. Keegan Kolesar of the Vegas Golden Knights overskates the puck, so Nylander picks it up, has a chance in transition, and makes no mistake. This is a goal scorer's goal at almost full speed, a beautiful snapshot, low glove off the post and in. Lots to like about this goal if you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. His 3rd of the game, his hat-trick goal, was an empty netter, but, you know, it counts. It is a hat-trick nonetheless, and it's nice to see a guy like Alexander Nylander, who has been written off by so many for so long, go to a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets and make such a strong first impression and be this productive through a handful of games after a trade that, like I mentioned earlier in the video, was viewed by most as a nothing trade. And it's not like the stretch of play from Alexander Nylander is completely out of character either. Sure, we haven't seen much of it from him at the NHL level, if any at all, but this is a guy who lit up the OHL in his draft year prior to being selected 8th overall, and he's been a pretty prolific scorer in the AHL for Wilkes-Barre over the past couple of seasons as well. This is a guy with skill, and it's starting to look like maybe Columbus could have found something here. Is Alexander Nylander the next great late bloomer? You guys can let me know how you feel about it down below in the comments, but the line of Texier, Sillinger, Nylander so far for Columbus has been fantastic. So that is going to wrap up this quick video on Alexander Nylander and his hot start to his career with the Columbus Blue Jackets. As always, I want to know what you guys are thinking, so let me know your thoughts on Nylander down below in the comments. Do you think he's going to be able to keep this up and be a productive player for the Blue Jackets, or is this just a hot streak? If you guys enjoy these shorter videos where we recap games, talk about current events, then be sure to leave it a like. That's the best way to let me know that you enjoyed and that you want to see more like this. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want NHL content just like this all year round, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all again soon.